Sycope. Okay, good afternoon everybody. I will start from the side. I'm not Andre, he's somewhere there. I'm a little bit higher, he's a little bit more handsome than me, but I think in my 40s I cannot make much about this one. And what I'm doing, I'm the product manager of Sycope. So in general I'm doing two types of presentations. 50% of those are roadmaps, and 50% are not standard presentations. So you can imagine this one won't be standard presentation as usual. When it comes to bottom button. Okay. Unfortunately, there won't be any phones on this one, as you can imagine, but there will be hardware at least. So I sneaked in one slide about the Enigma Double. This one was created by Polish team, and to be honest, I was a little bit amazed. So what they did, they took the enterprise version of Enigma and tried to recreate the military one. So there was an option, I didn't know about it, that the Enigma has two versions, and they recreate the military one, which is more or less used during the World War II. Okay, so what are the similarities between us and Enigma? Definitely a solution. Definitely a dedicated one, and also created by a Polish team. When it comes to the differences, I would say that on the left side I see a very nice wooden box which is operating mostly manually with sticking plugs into the specific holes. On our side we have fully virtualized solution somewhere in the data center, which is doing some little bit of magic. I think that both devices were doing the magic, but that one before was kind of a bit more on the hardware side. When it comes to our solution, as we entering the customer premise, we're gathering a lot of information coming from the network, and this information is being gathered through the network protocol. Network more in general is the metadata about the traffic, and whole today's presentation will be about the connections. So, and those connections, as we are doing, we're actually doing the analysis we're doing on the three pillars of the visibility, performance, etc. But why the connections are important? So, when it comes to the connections itself, so you can imagine that if I'm putting my laptop in my network, I'm initiating around 100 connections. If I'm using the browser and I have a single tab, it's around 5 connections each. You can imagine if I restart this browser with all these tabs, and I'm smiling because I'm seeing this like at least for a week now, and my engineers even are one step further. They do not see the names of the tabs. There are so many that is like don't see it here, and most of those are cycles. So if you consider the heavy user this guy is, so I have definitely different level of heavy users. But altogether, there are a number of connections being initiated, and sorry, I'm just missing this one. And if it's one user and he has a problem, then you have one user with the problem. If you have more users, then you have to find the user inside your network. But when it comes to different architecture, a little bit more complex, then you have the users, but more difficult problems. And we can go on and go on. So the more architecture is being complex, and the users are being generating the traffic, but ultimately you will need to find somebody in this bunch of people somewhere in the location. It's not the case. It's always the local network. And this user, when he's calling you, he's even not considering his all connections. He's considering single transactions, and he's complaining that something happened. And when it comes to the infrastructure, all of the devices will send me some information about his specific transaction. And the more versatile is the network, and the more data is there, it's cool. But when you know what you're looking for, so initially you have a lot of connections, and there is a problem somewhere. And I remember the first one we initiated the product, and we presented to the customers. We as a bunch of engineers, we decided that we will present a big table and there will be a number of connections, and on the top of that we'll create you one dashboard and everybody will know what's happening there. And it's not so easy. From our perspective, we will live and breathe with the net flow and packets. So for us, if you give us the table and you will know how it's going here, then we will find a solution. But most of the customers does not know it. So the evolution of the solution right now is that it looks completely different, in a sense that before we gave only the means to get to the target, to the root cause analysis. Right now we're giving you the whole context of the problem. So the whole context here is that I'm seeing the DNS traffic. So DNS traffic is grouped in a dashboard group, and it has each specific tab defines you the specific perspective on the problem. So for instance, here you see the overview of the traffic, then you see the errors, timelines, baselines, everything on this specific dashboard is considered to be mean to answer the question what's happening inside your DNS traffic. On the top of that, there is always search bar. And initially we thought that everybody likes to click on CLI, so creating the code, creating the queries is a cool thing to do, but it's not like this. Some users don't want to do this and they want to have a solution which is simple and easy to digest. So we initiated the project from the UX perspective that instead of clicking and creating the creative queries, we initiated the project when somebody is clicking something and everybody is being suggested. So instead of giving the user the means to do this, we're giving him the answers. When it comes to these hints, it's difficult right now to present all the solutions, all the options here. But you can imagine that if I see the dashboard here and I look for something which is happening on my DNS server, instead of knowing which client IPs are there, which is connected with whom, I'm just going here. The system will suggest me what is happening in this specific timeline in the filtering widget, which is creative version of the filtering here. User just clicking and it contextually change the view on all the dashboard groups. So right now, if I'm changing from overview to timeline, I see it in the context of this specific IP. So all the errors, all the DNS, all the baselines are here in the contextual basis. So this is one thing. The second one, we decided that not every user knows what is 2K error. Because maybe my team knows it's here, but not every user knows it. So instead of user thinking about it and looking for the solution, we pack the whole solution with the drill downs. And the drill downs give you the user the perspective on a specific number, specific metric, or specific visualization. So instead of drilling around and looking around for the solution, the user can use the drill downs and have different representation of the data. So here I'm just looking on the client IP. I can see that what is this traffic of this client in context of the UDP with the different servers, in the context of this specific server. So I'm changing the perspective from the whole view from the global search bar into specific points and the specific perspectives here. What is cool here that I can do it globally, so I can just steer the traffic, steer the dashboard, and steer the widgets for specific filtering here. I can do it independently, so I see the view here and it's giving me some answers, and those widgets give me independent answer of different questions. So this is also cool because it's a contextual basis, not only for the dashboard group perspective, but also from the widget perspective. When it comes to the skilled users, because we have some like this that love us because they can slice the query, would like to just straight from the search bar. There is always option like this, but there is a limited number of users from the day one who would like to create a query, which is kind of unique for our language. Ultimately, in this number of these connections, you can imagine 250k flows per second give you around a few millions for a minute, and you have to digest all of this. And ultimately, using the filtering mechanism, you land on the specific connections. In this bunch of connections with around 160 or 136 metrics inside. So even though you have a lot of data, you have a lot of connections, ultimately you need to have a mean to find the right one, which is supposed to be the one which is making the trouble of the user. And what is also important, that from our point of view, if you find this connection and think that it's kind of a, let's call it a problematic one, it's always reasonable to find the benchmark. So that's why we're introducing the baselines. So you can imagine if my IP is located in here and my colleague is working from Warsaw, and you assume that I have a problem with the performance, it's always good to see whether anybody from here has this kind of problems. Everybody in Warsaw has this kind of problems. So benchmarking and baselining allows us to dynamically compare the users between different locations, different networks, and different groups. So it's always connected. You have the baseline being created from the day zero. So if you plug in our solution to the network, we start to gather the network, creating the baseline, creating the visualization, everything's on the fly. In case you would like to have alerting, there also we as engineers like to tune it, but there are users who would like to have it out of the box. So we provide you with the number of the rules which are predefined, so you can switch it on and it will start to work. If you want to tune it, you have an option to tune it. If you want to create it by your own, there's always an option like this. Yeah. And finally, we know that you as a partner and you have a lot of customers. We decided that we would like to have the MSP solution, where we would like to have the different instances placed in different current locations, and we would like to have a single central console, which allows you to manage all the instances and troubleshooters directly from the central location. So the one which will come next year in March will allow you to have around up to 100 instances located around the world. And from this single console, first of all, you can gather all the alerts coming from the users against your SLA agreements. You can monitor just directly from the console. In case of troubleshooting and root cause analysis, you can just drill down to the specific instance, and with connection with the user locally, you can manage the problems there. I like the clicking part. And if there's a question, please come on time. We have some surprise for you. If you would like to gather the USB 1 terabyte with all our software and our licenses, there's a guy handsome with the guy there.
Yeah, if you are interested in POC, come to me, and I have few USB sticks with a software and license for POC for your trial.
Nice surprise in the marketing.
Fabulous.
Very useful from time to time.